I can't really fix the lighting, unfortunately, so it's making me look super duper bright, unfortunately. Anywho, oh, my nose ring. But anywho, on that note, one of the messages that I have for you guys is you could be noticing things about your characteristics, like your physical traits and characteristics, may be improving, or almost like you're having like a new body, new face, new everything. And of course, this is for those who are on their path, who have a sincerity towards improving themselves, improving upon themselves, healing things, but moving toward more healthier things, healthier ways of being and existing, right? Some of you may notice some changes out of the blue concerning your physical appearance, a beautifying effect, to say the least. So, more so like the caterpillar turned butterfly. And I'm not saying, that you were ugly or anything, but almost like a shedding of something for something new or renewed to appear. I really want to fix this though, because it's kind of like too bright. So for example, I've noticed that for myself, for me, I noticed it on yesterday. Not even yesterday, on this morning, me and my partner was brushing our teeth and everything, just looking in the mirror. He's standing behind me, and I noticed, like, as I'm brushing my teeth, like, I don't know, it's like, whoa, like I really look different. And so I mentioned it to him when we were in the car and everything, and he was like, no, you're not tripping, because I was thinking the same thing. Like, when you woke up this morning, I was like, whoa, like she's kind of glowing or whatever. So some of you guys, this could be reflecting as well in your lives, and this has a lot to do with the regeneration that's taking place within, as well as just the elements, us being more in harmony with nature, with the elements. So this purging that's been going on, that's been taking place, right? Us being in alignment with that as well. So that's what that's coming from too. Also, seeing a generation or an emergence of new beautiful things in nature. So whether that's creatures, insects, animals, sea creatures, flowers, different things like that. But and even butterflies, seeing different kind of butterflies that you've never seen before, right? So that's being reflected within us as well. So it's like you're the same person, but you're looking like a different person, if that makes sense, like, or whatever. Okay, for some of you, this could be pregnancy. For some females, it could be pregnancy free. For others, this is just alignment with nature, right? So that was the first thing I got for us. The next message was talking about finding balance through it all, as in trusting in your abilities, your ancestry, your character to guide you and to ease the anxiety that comes from meeting new people, going into new projects, beginning new things, because there's a lot of beginnings taking place, and there's a lot of shedding, this death and rebirth cycle, right? So this is talking about people. It's talking about people, those individuals who basically have that understanding, or have a deeper understanding of life and the life, death, life cycle, as in they're not as resistant as they were to things, like, so understanding change, understanding what we can manipulate and modify, right? And what we can't manipulate and modify, because manipulation gets demonized a lot for what it's often used for, or how it's often abused. And so in most cases, when people are talking about manipulation, the context surrounding the term is usually, of a negative context. But manipulation in essence is also alchemy. When you're performing alchemy, you're manipulating elements. You're manipulating things. So it's the same thing like chemistry and, you know, anything of that nature, right? So with magic, what are you doing? You're manipulating reality, right? Okay, so basically, knowing what you know, finding out what you find out, going through like the fucked up shit that you've been through was not for you to become this fearful, fragile, um, too overly cautious being. Now, of course, you're supposed to have a healthy level of vigilance and, you know, being cautionary and stuff like that. But I feel a lot of people have tilted too much into the being overly cautious and really fear and being terrified, right? So something that, you know, Spirit wants to reiterate to us is that love is terrifying. Love is terrifying in a way. Like, I'm not saying, I'm not condoning flat out abuse. That's not what I'm saying. But you know that feeling when, okay, let's say a situation happens like this, when you literally fall into some shit, right? So here's a similar story, and this is what I was telling someone, how most people end up finding like their true divine partner in this manner, right? Where they're not even really looking for real. Like they're kind of minding their business, just going, you know, that's not like their main focus. And I wish I didn't shuffle just now, because the card that I had showed you actually said loosen your grip. So those who loosen their grips on the outcome of things, right? And trusting more so in your intentions, right? Trusting more in your character, the energy that you put out into the world, your, you know, and your sincerity behind it, your genuinity, you know, your organic and authentic way of existing and, you know, showing up with others, even if that means having to, even if your truth for some individuals or some situations or circumstances may be you having to depart or detach yourself or release the individuals, whatever the case may be for that moment, even if you have to, you know, correct a person, or, you know, you have to, you know, speak in a different tone or a different manner with certain individuals, right? So my thing is not allowing any one of these emotional outcomes to override your perspective, your overall perspective on your soul's, you know, your soul and flesh journey, right? Your human journey with experiencing, encountering other individuals and, you know, other things, right? So big picture thinking, we got Pleiades energy, visionary and inspired ideas. So remembering the big picture, always remembering the big picture. And then we have inner earth, right? So relying on who you really are within and the energies that you are emitting, regardless of if you know, when we experience disappointments or letdowns, or people, you know, don't exactly, you know, are up to par in, you know, certain ways how we would prefer the outcomes to be, or how we prefer them to act or go about a situation or conduct themselves. Just because we have a preference, that doesn't mean that that preference is going to be fulfilled in a person that we would ideally like it to be with, right? So just basically not allowing that to put us back in the cycle of like pessimism and completely closing ourselves off to being open to love, because we have to understand that the universe operates off balance. So the thing about emotions like anger, frustration, irritability, those kind of things, right? Or sadness, right? It's very extreme, like potent feelings and emotions. Like it feels very extreme whenever we feel it. So in a way we can allow, and this is the thing about the ego and why we have to be like very, very cautious of this. The thing about the ego is like very like a shallow pleasure seeking type force energy here, right? Like a root chakra pleasure seeking type of thing here, and it can get easily, you know, fearful or anxiety causing or whatever. Because another thing about the ego always feels like somebody is out, you know, out to shut it down or out to get them, or it that's well, whenever, don't get me wrong, This is why we really have to, or we've gone through so many cycles and tests here and trials, so that we can really build a strong rapport and trust with, literally trusting ourselves, our visions, our magical abilities, our discernment, intuition, and all that in the third, right? Your soul. So having this deeper rapport with the soul in the flesh, opposed to just operating from the flesh when it comes to how we perceive the world around us, especially when it comes to safety and security, right? Because that's like where the breach really falls at when it comes to new beginnings, new relationships, developing strong feelings for people to set in the third, right? The security and the safety, people having concerns about that. Is my heart, really safe and secure to love this individual, to go deeper, to go further with this person, right? So that's what gets most people here. That's what gets most people, right? So we got Harayah, longing for home, homesick for the stars, right? So maintaining, or the deeper that you find, the deeper that you build this comfort and this confidence in like your inner self, like your inner home, like your soul, and the unseen realm, right? And just having a better understanding of energy, right? The less that you feel that you're always like being abandoned, or somebody is likely to abandon you, this, that, and the third, right? So those feelings of abandonment. So what I'm getting is people shedding that. And as a result of shedding these things, right, you're going to look like you literally have like a new being, like new flesh, like a renewal taking place on a DNA level, a cellular level, like deep cellular healing type of thing. Yeah, we have the golden children, inner child, tenderness, innocence, and rare gifts. Innocence and tenderness. So being more tender, right, with our deep, like sensitive, most potent feelings, right? That really is like the cause of why we go into this deep internalization and pessimism, this, that, and the third. It's like the child being afraid of a potential abandonment, like from like something subconscious more so, and not even just subconscious, but being very aware and present of how a lot of people are irresponsible with each other's hearts. They're irresponsible in connections. The minute that something is not perfect, right? Some type of breach in the perfection, or the puppy dog phase, this, that, and the third. When there's some type of breach, right? Where something that causes for you to really be human, right? To really be human, but not just human, but to connect to a soul level in order to resolve whatever the misunderstanding is. Whenever those things occur, that's when we see like the fears come out, the running, the chasing, the conflicts, this, that, and the third, right? And so people take that, right? They take that with them moving forward. And the only thing about that, it can trick you out of genuine connections. It can cause you to literally close off this portal here for other golden children. It's like literally a portal for golden children, almost like they're coming from the sun. And not just the sun, but this could represent Mars, this could represent Venus, right? It's like a ball of fire. Those are the main three, like, things that you can think of right now. So that deep passion, passionate love, and compassion and care, and rapport and companionship, this, that, and the third. You can, if you're not careful, you can, in a way, close this off here. So, and it's like we got two of these. We got all of these have portals here. All of these are talking about portals. And what I was getting was to know how to be open to those who genuinely are of a loving spirit, a caring spirit, a compassionate spirit. Just because they may share characteristics with other individuals who have not been so. They've been a complete opposite. They've been catalysts of, very tumultuous energies and feelings and emotions, right? But not allowing yourself to completely close off all the love that's still available, right? Because we need balance. The bullshit is there, but the love, the good shit is also existing in the same space, right? So basically, having more control on what controls us, what drives us, and not like merely allowing ourselves to be driven more so by the negative shit, or the negative perspective of the situation, right? Because there's always a bigger picture, there's always a higher perspective to evaluate as well. It's just a lot of times people can just conform to whatever that negative one is, because when you think about it, it requires less work, it requires less commitment, it requires less discipline, right? It requires less confidence and determination, right? Especially like faith, like in yourself, like it requires less of that. So, and when you think about it, when you really allow yourself to sink deeper, deeper, and deeper into it, the ego is literally feeding off that shit. And that's when you start to hear all them goddamn thoughts to try to pull you even deeper in it, or try to extend your timing in being in that. But it's supposed to be a cycle. You let it live, but you let it die, right? Life, death, life. You're supposed to come back to life. You're supposed to resurrect out of the sadness. You're supposed to resurrect out of the frustration. You're supposed to resurrect out of, whatever thoughts that you form, that you spread to a whole collective of people, even though certain individuals, right, are the ones who've done it, not everybody. So that's what I was getting to. Like, for example, I met someone recently, and it's crazy because I was kind of talking about this as well, but I met someone recently who told me that her dad molested her as young as 4 years old. Now, I'm grateful for my journey and just how, regardless of whatever underhanded or evil agendas is taking place, the Most High, like, in my team, my ancestors, they're always with me, like my village. You know how they say it takes a village to raise a child. We have a village of angels and ancestors and spirit guides and, ascended masters literally taking care of us like their child. So they're always with us, literally, right? With that being said, when it came to my school situation, I didn't really get accepted into any colleges because I had a very poor GPA because my behavioral problem in high school, right? But anyway, I still was able to get into a pretty decent school according to American, statistics. And I studied psychology and sociology, so I took this class called Sociology of the Body. And I remember we would read different, and what I love about that class or that course, Sociology of the Body, is that a lot of our teaching or learning came from real life stories, like people who this was their real life vulnerable as stories that they were courageously sharing with others, to basically create like a common ground or a path here that it doesn't matter the extremity of what you've been through, like it's still achievable. This card keeps coming out. But anyway, so there was a book that she had us read about this lady, and the same thing happened to her. That's why when the girl told me that her dad did that to her when she was 4, like, it wasn't surprising to me. Like, of course you sympathize with people because that's fucked up, right? But anyway, so the book, the same thing happened to her. Like, her dad, was messing with her since she was a small kid until she got older. He took her virginity. He acted like a possessive partner over her. All that. Like, she was very sexually promiscuous as a result, very confused about love, made a lot of, harmful or disruptive self-sabotaging decisions, from being misled and confused and having your spirit, like played over, especially by a relative, that really causes a lot of inner conflict within a person, right? Especially a child. So I don't know why, that's just a sidebar there, but basically, compassion, like I keep getting like compassion, like heavy on the compassion and mercy, right? And being open. Now, once again, I am not condoning abuse. This is not condoning abuse. This is just talking about us returning, like, to, not moving, not becoming like cold or hardened, right? Especially not at the expense of possibly closing off or discarding like genuine connections that's trying to come in here, right? It's like we can develop an attitude of being pessimistic about everybody that come my goddamn way, and always thinking that people got ulterior motives, this, that, and the third, because you've encountered people with ulterior motives. No, this is talking about you, now that you know how to recognize it. Yeah, you can still, keep your eye open for it, but don't just, don't be so quick to assume the worst, right? Just allow things to be, give things time. Give things time. Because that's an issue that's developed too, us wanting to know what something is right then and there. Nah, we don't want to find out later. We don't want to see no true colors come out after, later on, after we done invested somewhere. But nah, there are some individuals you're going to be investing in. You're going to invest some energy in, and no, it's still not in vain. And that's the thing too. It's not in vain. It's not in vain. It's not in vain. All right. Now, some individuals, you will be able to identify flat out, right? And save your energy, right? But once again, yeah, we got to trust the timing. Trust the timing. Trust the wave you came in on anybody's life, on your own path, your journey, wherever you are, right? Trust the wave that you came in on, right? With true sincerity. And it says that time is not running out. Time is not running out for love. It says you're not for everyone. You're not for everyone. Loosen your grip, right? So we got coping mechanisms. So a density here, like just being mindful of this density that's trying to surface here, right? Or drown or kind of drain, trying to drain you, or have you pull the drainage, right? Have you pulled the plug on your own drain here, right? Like, no, right? This is talking about people being like afraid. Like there's some people here who are afraid of afraid to be, and this is my thing. It's not that you're afraid to fall in love. You're afraid to fall on your face from thinking that the love that you thought was love is like, or something about it turning out to be an illusion, or turning out to be something that's actually going to be harmful for you, or this, that, and the third, right? We got to jump in. Jump in. Andromedian energy, adventure, say yes to change. Say yes to change because it's necessary, whether you have the full picture of it at the moment or not. You have to allow time to bring the rest of those pieces, those puzzle pieces. But we know this. We have multiple examples and cycles for us to understand how this works, right? How it works, right? So now we have to allow it to work for us and stop working against it, and thus working against ourselves, right? Working against our village, right? Who's also, doing things, assisting us as well, maybe moving people towards us, moving people away from us, right? You're not for everyone. Embrace your weirdness. Face your true north. You don't have to, there's no more feeling ashamed about your weirdness. We have to stop apologizing for being weird. Like, it's time to embrace it. Yes, once again, that's another word that has like a lot of negative connotation to it. Has, it's usually used in negative context, but no, right? There's always a different side to everything, like, two sides to every coin type of thing. So weirdness is not always like, low vibrational or conflicting energy, like not conflicting in a way that is just problematic for no absolute reason, right? It's not it's not, because there's some discretion that is necessary, that wills, change and renewal, right? So facing your true north node, that's what I'm getting. Channeling this energy, right? This Leo energy, this full moon energy, it's Aquarius energy, Saturn in Aquarius, right? So channeling this energy here to face your true authentic self, right? Your true north here. Face it. Face it. I don't know why I'm here, and face it head on. It says lost land, soul memories and gifts. You've done this before. You've done this before. Some of y'all need to know that your home, that when you feel this homesick energy, I'm hearing Spirit said, what was home to you is love. The frequency, the energy of love, period. That's what it is. It's not an actual location. It's that frequency of love. That's what a lot of people are homesick for. Genuine love, right? Safe, secure love. Right? Yep, that's why we got to loosen your grip and let God in. Loosen your grip and let God in. Yesterday, at work, there was this lady, and it was such a random conversation, but she was basically saying how they was being very compassionate about an individual. There was a person who was being spoken about who's a tattoo artist, but apparently he has some struggles and some challenges with drug use. And I think he's also like imprisoned or something like that. But there was these two ladies, and they were just, being very, very compassionate in a sense of, I'm sure they're just trying to get through they're going through some things, and, that's why they did that. Or that's why, I'm sure they're just having a hard time, right? They're just having a hard time. And they just kept reiterating that, So, and I remember the other lady said, well, there's a lot of people who have addictions. It's just not textbook addictions. And she was and she was just so upfront and like courageous and confident in owning who she is in any moment, any version of herself. And, after she said that, she said, I'm addicted to food. And I need to work on it, and I am working on it. But I'm addicted to food. That's my addiction, right? And she just flat out said it, like, with so much confidence and boldness of words, right? Like, no shame about it. Like, be shame about it for what? I know who I am. I know what I'm doing, right? I know what I need to improve. I know, right? So having that knowing and the confidence coming from the knowledge of self, being knowledgeable of who you are, and not being in the kind of vulnerable state where somebody literally has to tell you who you are, but being in this knowing who you are, right? Mentality in essence, like, and the more that you get to know yourself and really know you and have more compassion towards yourself and not over criticize who you are in whatever version of yourself, right? That kind of adds to your confidence and your courage here. So once again, coping mechanisms, regardless of whatever look, I done been through many coping mechanisms, okay, to get to where I am within myself, or this very secureness like that I have within myself, or knowing myself. And so it's like that's a part of it. It's literally like climbing like a mountain, and it's steep as hell, or it's just challenging in general, but it's like there's something that you have to, you know what I'm saying? Like, how else are you going to get to the other side? How else are you going to get through it when that's the destination, right? So it's kind of like that. So letting God in, being in a place where we allow God to be in it, like through and through with us, knowing that we are never alone, regardless of how dark, right, or shady or gloomy the situation may be, right, or seem, regardless of how it may seem. It's not, everything is not what it seems. It's really not. It's really not. And it's so easy for us to choose to block out love, right? To choose it. We literally would choose to block it out because of, the opposite, right? The bullshit that we know lurks and, is we're aware of. We're far too aware of this shit, like aware of its presence and its ways that it creeps in, right? And the thing is, we can over anticipate or overly focus on that we can be the actual ones blocking out love, period. Like, for example, I got so much like musical wisdom yesterday, or like good, and from the individual, like let's say this person looked just like a person who did, impose like some type of trauma upon me. They did, but soul wise, character wise, right, essence wise, this was a totally different person. This was a loving person, right, regardless of them having similar characteristics to abusers that I've encountered, right. This was a genuine person, and so me being open, and just being open in general, like not being like overly friendly, but just being open, right, not, not basically, there's things we can do to kind of like run people off, like whether that's your facial expression or you just being like, or us just being standoffish. It really doesn't matter, but just being open, regardless. So of course, like if energies are respectful, if they're respectful of you, why not just be kind, to people, right? So because like you don't want to be causing shit unnecessarily or causing any violation or trespasses upon people unnecessarily or unrighteously so, just because you in some type of funk over individuals that don't have nothing to do with these people, these set of people, right? These set of people who could be the complete opposite, right? Because we need the balance. The universe operates off balance. I don't care if your whole morning was filled with bullshit. You're going to experience or you're going to encounter the complete opposite of that bullshit in frequency in that same day, right? But sometimes we can close ourselves off to it and not allow that energy to come in, right? And not that, sometimes we can hold on to the bullshit from that morning, right? And feeding that as if that's the baby we want to birth, and we don't, right? So we just have to, it's just a matter of just always finding balance, like allowing that thought to cross your mind daily. And regardless of whatever situation, when you feel an imbalance within yourself, just remember, right, that there's things available to me. There's energies, frequencies available to me in this day that I can find my balance. It will help assist me find my balance again. And if anybody can do it, if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be me. It's going to be me co-creating with source, right? I can't depend on this person to do it for me or that person to do it for me. It would be great if people would just, make things easier, when they can have more control of themselves. But you can't always bank off that. And you can't always assume either that, damn, everybody's just like this. These motherfuckers are just, no, you don't want to become pessimistic. That's how you can recognize that the ego the ego is talking too much, right? So there's some good that comes from the ego, but sometimes you have to put it in check, right? Because at the end of the day, when these bodies leave us, right, who are we going to have? We're going to have our soul, right? So you have to, let your soul drive the vehicle in most cases, right? And it's like, when you think about it, your flesh, right, your body, your human self makes things, easier, for the soul to recognize. Like it kind of gives off indicators and this, that, and the third, just like an actual vehicle. Like your vehicle lets you know when you need an oil change, when you need to get gas, when you have a low tire, like whatever the case may be. Like it's the same thing with the flesh, like the body. When we experience things with the body, with our mindsets, whatever the case may be, that's like an indicator to the soul. And then the soul will do what? Right? The soul knows like what's the solution. What are these solutions? Or the soul seeks those solutions from source, right? What would you do if you got indicators going on with your vehicle? You're going to seek solutions and support from source. And what would be the source for the vehicle? A mechanic shop, an auto shop, right? And so that's literally what it is with our human selves and our souls. That's how it operates, right? It says you are being protected by higher beings. You are being protected by higher beings. What did I say? Deep cellular healing. So this is what's taking place there, and it's reflecting in us. You can literally see it, right? Arcturus energy, physical and emotional healing, deep cellular healing. And then we got baby steps. Action, follow your intuition before it makes sense. Forge, don't follow, pave a new path and be the leader you wish you had. Even if it takes baby steps towards that. Even if you feel like you done fucked up, like damn, I was doing so good all week and I fucked up. Don't stay on that. Let it pass. It's the same thing with meditation, right? This is all interconnected. It's the same thing with meditation. When you're meditating, to have a clear mind and just be present in the moment, in your body, with your breath, right? You'll have all kind of thoughts that are crept in, and it comes and goes. Unless your soul, unless the person who's really operating this thing chooses to hold on and latch on to whatever a thought is that come through your mind, literally. Or you can simply just let it pass. That's why it says don't fight against the waves, that type of thing. Or is, you're gonna have a hard time trying to swim in the opposite direction, right, of a current. That's literally how it is, these thoughts, when they come in, right? Sometimes you just need to sit your ass down. Sometimes you just need to there's several things we can do that we've learned in order to help stabilize this shit, right? To clear this shit out. We know to move the body around helps move energy out. So dance and turn on like some of your favorite songs, like get you turned, whatever it is, as long as you have a sincere and aligned intent in mind. I don't care if the song is bullshit. If you know what you need to know about spell work and witchcraft in the music, if you are aware of this, right, and you've detached on a subconscious level from that, so you're not impacted by that, or you know how to check it if you feel that you are, you know how to balance that back out, right? Boom. So play whatever the hell that turn you up the fucking most, and literally just have yourself like your own like motion, like turn on, like move around, move your body, go walking, go running, go walk your dog. I mean, dance, do anything, but moving your body clears out energy, right? So we know all these different ways to stabilize all these things that's coming in, right? Or that we encounter on a day-to-day. We know solutions on a soul level. So there's no need for the fear. There's no need for the fear or the overly fearfulness of new things, new people, new situations. Period. Now, there's use for everything. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to be misleading when I said there's no need for fear. I mean, because in essence, there is. Like, because we need balance. It's all necessary for balance, right? All right. It's like if there wasn't a such thing as fear, how would you know, like, that you need to be more mindful of your decisions and your whereabouts or the company that you keep and this, that, and the third, right? So it's almost like your life experiences, it kind of molds you into a super being if you allow it to be. Like, it can literally mold you into a superhuman if you allow it, right? If that's the flow that you're going with. But if you're fighting against those currents, then you already know what's up. It's so crazy. This jeweler, right? Somebody was asking about some diamonds or some jewelry or whatever, and one of the items, I think one of the things they were looking at was cubic zirconia, and the other one they was looking at was like actual genuine diamonds, right? And so the jeweler, I was kind of just minding my business, but I'm always listening, like, for confirmation and clarity, from my ancestors, from the Most High, the spirit realm, right? Because it's always active. It's just as active as the human realm is. A lot of people get confused by that because they get so caught up in the human realm, and they turn off they turn off their spiritual ears and eyes and nose and mouth and all that shit, right? But you really shouldn't. It's not really recommended that you do that. But anyway, supposed to allow it to coexist. So I'm sitting there, somebody was asking about it, and basically he just made like a remark. He was like, if it's clear, he said, if it's clear, that ain't real. He said if it's clear, that's cubic zirconia if it's too clear. But when it natural flaws, when it has natural flaws, that's a real diamond. Everybody know, like, a diamond, that's a real diamonds, boy. Like, he said something like that along those words, right? The point is, he didn't look. It's the reason why he said that, and why I was like in a meditative state at that moment, that I was able to grasp that out of all the chatter that was going on. those words stood out to me. So something about your natural flaws is what really makes real diamonds. Those are what real diamonds are. But when you have individuals, and this could be like, for some of you guys, this could have be a lot of your cousins on this energy here that I'm about to speak on. When you have people who are more concerned on perfectionism physically, like they're willing to spend whatever, to do whatever, to change or to try to perfect something that they deem as a flaw on themselves, when in actuality it's like it's like you're overthinking it, and you're overthinking negatively criticizing yourself on this matter that is literally something natural. And it's like, why do that? Why do that? There ain't nothing wrong with it, but if it's out of you literally just having like a really, really poor like self-esteem about it, because we got no accountability. Like, if it's out of no accountability, then what do you really say about that? So natural flaws make the real diamonds, right? So this is talking about people who embrace their authentic selves shining more and more. Or and then another thing that it symbolized too, how some people are still in confusion and still can't tell the difference between genuine diamonds or cubic zirconia. And I'm saying that in the character of people, like individuals, especially those who are still a little bit too physical. They're too physical, right? So they out here call themselves trying to look for diamonds, trying to find a diamond in the rough, but they getting detoured by cubic zirconias and getting upset because they thought it was a diamond, right? And this has a lot to do with people's discernment, the quality of their discernment, right? There's ways to improve that, to edify that, to build that, but if it's neglected, it will wither, right? It's not as potent, it's not as clear, right? And it doesn't matter what your career is. It doesn't matter how many certifications or how many degrees and diplomas you have. If you don't invest, right? If you don't invest and really study life and study people and allow these lessons, right, to really build and sharpen your discernment, it does not matter how high your scores are in college. That shit does not matter. It's not going to do as much as your discernment would do for you, right? It says all is not what it seems. All is not what it seems. So that means sometimes even when your ego wants to think that something is negative or fearful or unsafe, in actuality it's not. There's nothing dangerous about it. But you need to have the rightful discernment in order to tell the fucking difference, right? And trust your character, trust in your abilities, trust in your ancestors, the spirit realm, to let you know and to remind you, before these things spring up, I shall tell you of them in many ways that I've already shown you. Dreams, day visions, right? Billboards, TV shows, other people, right? Your timelines, popping up a title on your time, it really doesn't matter. Numbers, angel numbers, their meanings, all these different ways of communication we have built with the spirit realm over time. We have that now. It's intact, right? It's not unwavering, right? And so that deep cellular healing is actually allowed to really set in, right? It says, to whom much is given, much is required, right? So we got apology. Some people may be having some anxiety concerning this around discerning apologies here, whether a person's apology is genuine or not, right? And not wanting to fall into that gullible or naivety, or feeling like somebody is using you because of a trigger word or some shit like that, or always thinking that somebody is on a tyrannical energy here, a tyrant. So discernment, big discernment here, big discernment. There's going to be situations where you can't always rely on a reader or somebody else to make healthy judgments, right? And that's why, look what I just said, look, face to face. There's going to be situations that arrive that you encounter on a regular basis, like in person, where you're going to have to rely on your discernment, right? You can't just pull up a reading and have a reader on speed dial. Like, you got to be your own reader. You have to be your own reader. You have to be your own lie detector. You have to be all that for yourself, right? People too focus on and you know, you of course you should consider independency when it comes to your material lifestyle, of course. But too much people neglect upgrading like their internal selves, right? Too many people neglect that, or they try to do that after the fact, and then they find themselves in sticky ass situations here, right? We got defamation of character. You find some of these people, they find themselves in situations where they try to defame the character of another person who actually was working to upgrade their internal selves. So building their character, or keeping their character intact, or retaining their character, right? Sometimes they'll fall into cycles of defaming those individuals, right? Out of some type of deep-rooted, like, just envy. Like, look, we got fake Empress, right? Or you'll have people trying to fake those internal things by what they have on the outside, right? Karmic friends. Spirit said, not anymore. Not anymore. So, not anymore. Oh, okay. So I'm guessing this is talking about individuals who used to get more easily fooled by this, no longer being fooled by this shit no more. No longer being fooled by this shit anymore. So we got an era to destroy melanin-rich spiritual potency. Spiritual potency. Okay? Heavy emphasis. Spiritual potency. So being very potent spiritually, your spiritual vision, your discernment, your perception, your processing, your competency, right? Yeah, and as a result, you have, so we got addictions here. We got the drinking is catching up with them. So you have some people who resort to addictions in order to cope for not doing this work here on upgrading their internal selves, or, you know, retaining their hearts, their character, or that merging, that coexisting through the spirit and the flesh. So in place of that, or to fill that void, you have some people who have been drinking instead, like using alcohol to fill that void within, right? And as a result, it's catching up with them. But this is also talking about when you do, even if you've done this, there are some individuals who have who've had alcoholic problems, and this would be like the rock bottom, or that moment of clarity when they be like, no, like, I'm done with this shit, right? Some people have their breakthrough through shit like that, through relapses, through whatever the case may be, but not everyone. Yeah, for some people, it don't take until something really hit the fan. I was just literally talking to my mom about this morning, bro. I was talking about how I recognize a certain anointing over my bloodline. When it comes to my family, and when it comes to death, we don't have many deaths in my bloodline. It's always very spaced out and scattered. I know that's because of the anointing on the family. I have a few cousins who, you know, who in the streets, this, that, and the third. And I mean, where there's people out here who are losing their lives after being shot at one time, or like literally losing their lives from being shot, like the first time they've ever been shot, right? whether it was multiple or one, and literally dying like on the spot type shit. I have cousins who gotten shot different occasions and are still like riding, like still here. Still here. Still here. Mercy. 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 Wow. And just now when I was hearing mercy, Spirit brought apology back to my attention, and how I have not anymore right over it. So what I heard was no more mercy for intentional tyrannical energies, right? There's no more mercy for intentional tyrannical energies, right? Because now at this point, it ain't got nothing to do with you just, you just not knowing, and you just needing more time to grow and experience a few things, get your ass knocked a few times, whatever the case may be, for you to get your shit together, right? When that shit is not fucking working, what else do you expect to happen? So this is talking about individuals about to find out they running out of mercy. That mercy running out. But as for those, right, who have an ear to hear, right, who answered the call, right, who improve themselves, they actually care to be genuine, useful, essential, helpful, positively contributing human beings and spirits, right? This is talking about you and those who are really pure, or maybe your partner or whatever, being able to run away together, right? It says run away together, travel light, trust in me as I will care for you every step of the way, right? Some of you individuals are doing this now, have done this, or will be doing this soon, right? But you wouldn't even like really have this kind of confidence or this courage here if you didn't go through this shit, right? It had to be built over time, baby steps. It had to be developed, right? Sometimes we can get confused by our flesh developing past our spirit. Some people's flesh develops quicker than their spirit, and inside they're still feeble as fuck, right? So we got too late to apologize, must serve full sentence now. It's too late now. It's too late now. But you have ample time. I just saw lottery and I saw wrath. I'm hearing that whatever. So yeah, this is about something old. Like, okay, so this old energy, like this is talking about like when you still own old shit that you should have been shed and passed, that universally, energetically, right, was being shedded, right? That's why when we've been getting these cards and they kept coming out saying earth is purging, earth is purging. What does earth represent? Earth symbolizes the body. So we got chosen. Earth symbolizes, it represents the body, right? So this could be about someone else for someone. There's some decisions people made here as a result, well, out of a result of ignorance, right? However, these are some people who are being more realistic here. It says stuck in the past to come out reverse. So this is somebody here who's not stuck in the past anymore, or who's no longer in that south node energy. They're facing their true north node. There's something about, for somebody who've gotten the vaccine, maybe there was some complications or side effects here. It says built up plaque in the brain or heart. Now this could be, once again, this could be someone else. Like some of these messages could be talking about the chosen. Other messages are going to be talking about whatever individuals who are not in alignment, right? Who are not on that type of time. They don't even, it's not a priority. Right? It's not a soul level priority for them to, evolve spiritually. It's not. So this is talking about built up plaque in the brain, heart, hardened hearts, and reprobated minds. Right? Those who are given over to a reprobated mind after so much mercy and opportunity and encounters with individuals who could influence them, in a healthy way or towards a more healthy direction here. Or individuals who've been there, right? And who've gone out of that and as a result, that was a part of their purpose and their testimony to have that kind of background to guide others out of that shit. So, but people who are still arrogant, yeah. Look, we got laugh now, cry later. Laugh now, cry later. We're about to move into, so I think we're in the fall and we're going to be moving into winter soon, but we are in like the flood months, flood season. So you're going to see that reflected in a lot of emotions here, like for these individuals who didn't take these things serious, right? It says, I Tried So Hard by Bone Thugs and Harmony. And for some individuals, this could be like just a phase, like them having to go through their healing phase so late here. Oh my God, some people really cannot handle the shit. Like, some people can't handle it, that they're deadly. This is talking about deadly women. This is talking about women who, because the emotional part is becoming too tyrannical for them, too much for them to handle. Yeah, we got, people who realize that they're caught up in fatal attractions and this, that, and the third. This is talking about this backfiring, like on organs here, like having organ damage. Like, so we have to really pay attention to just how severe it is for us to really heal and really like be in this rebalancing type of energy. Like, even if you go off balance, you get ticked off, whatever the case, but coming back to your balance, coming back to your equilibrium, like we really have to make this priority because it's very damaging on the body. Remember, the body basically is like your vehicle, your temple, your church, right? So it's like you can't allow like any type of vandalism and all type of shit like to just be constantly going on like with your temple or with your vehicle, letting it get beat and wear the fuck down, because that's going to reflect back on the spirit. Look, it says the will is going to reflect back on the willpower, the quality and the strength of the willpower, right? The effect, the impact. So we got spiteful warcraft here. For some people, this could be like war. This could be witchcraft or like that warcraft type energy here backfiring on them. So like projecting this energy or trying to evoke this energy towards people who actually are like doing this healing here on an internal, a deep cellular level here, and that having to boomerang back to those who aren't, and as a result that energy just bouncing off of them back and forth. Spiteful warcraft, right? So these are things like it's like it can cause organ damage. This could cause people to be in a deadly state here, like because they're weak. They're weak spiritually. They're weak emotionally. It doesn't matter what the fuck they look like on the outside, bro. It does not matter. It does not matter. You are obviously weak as fuck spiritually if you can murder your child, your little small child, just because you're tired of parenting. That's fucking ridiculous. But there's people who's on that type of time, and this is why they don't have a stable foundation internally. They don't have nothing to ground themselves on. They can't ground themselves within their own energy, right? This is why we see a lot of vampire energy and these type of things, and people trying to find somebody else to hold on to. And that's okay. That's okay until it becomes problematic, right? Until it becomes, a person is taking advantage of that, and it's that and the third. Like, yeah, look, the antidote. Antidote. Infiltrating dream state for info, to implant, to inscribe, to spy, to cloak, to bind. Some of you guys could you could have recently had this kind of dream here, or seeing individuals, random people that it don't even make sense why these people will be in your fucking dreams. Like, you haven't thought about this person, talked to this person in so long, or even if you have like spoke to some of the people, it's like it's not really anything too serious for them to be in your goddamn dreams, but motherfuckers in your fucking dreams, right? For example, what this is making me think about, like last night or this morning, I had a dream, and it was just very, very vivid, and there was a lot of motherfuckers in the dream, and it's like I was able to identify like a handful of people that was in it. There was two particular people that stood out though, and I really did not understand why the fuck. Like, there was also a celebrity in that dream as well. And I never had her in my dream before, so I don't know why this bitch was in my dream. So we got, you are a sacred and wise mother. Children are a part of your destiny. I have been guarding and protecting your womb, the sacred mother. So that's a message from the sacred mother. It's a message from the divine mother. Some of you guys, there's something here about a male relative. So maybe you've seen a male relative in your dream. Okay, so this vaccine could be related to a male relative here. It could be causing organ damage with this person. We got blood wars, blood transfusion in high demand here. This could be like malpractice here to get some blood, or to get his I forgot what it's called, the fluids of the body. There's a term for it to like basically summarize all of it, right? But blood transfusions here, so it's in high demand. So using these vaccines or these damn so-called viruses, diseases, or these opportunities to try to like inject people in actuality to take their blood here, try to get their blood because it's in high demand. We got past lives here. It says things are actually more calm around or within your energy, but in the lives of the wicked, they are under heavy judgment. So empathically, you could be experiencing or picking up on this. Right, we already had empathic starseed show up. Right, this is something you've done before that your soul is very familiar with from past lives. This energy here. Yep, we got craving blood, eating uncooked raw animal flesh, eating of flesh and blood, including human. So just be careful. Anything having to do with just be mindful. Be mindful and trust your intuition. This is why discernment. This is why it's very, we got necessary changes. It's necessary. This is why having a very sharpened and intact discernment is very necessary, because of the dangers that lurks among us. Period. Whether we're so good inside and we're so peaceful and this, that, and the third, and we don't want this shit to exist and we want to get rid of it and we're working to get rid of it, guess what? It's still there though. It's still there. It's still there. In the meantime. So be careful. Be careful. Be careful about interracial relationships. I'm not saying everybody is not trustworthy, but just be careful. Be discerning, right? Discern those who are sincere from those who are just fetishizing you. That's all I'm saying. It says dating interracial for clout and inclusion, not out of real love, right? But this could be something to do. There's a reason why Blood Wars came out right after that. No, this is not every interracial relationship. This is why discernment is crucial, right? And you're not going to be able to go to a reader and take them with you in your day-to-day and all your face-to-face interactions. Like, all right, is this person trustworthy? Is this person high vibration? Is this person's intentions good? What about this person? What about that person? What about this person? What about that? We can't do that for you. You can only do that for yourself. Right? But anyway, so after this dating interracial shit, this card came out. It said cold-hearted. Cold-hearted. Now, one thing you should be able to discern and detect is a cold motherfucking heart. I don't give a fuck, bro. I don't give a fuck. You should be able to discern a cold heart. If yours isn't, if your heart isn't cold, you should be able to pick up on one that is. Which one I want to do? Okay, I think that's all, brother. Sidebar. You're a male. Do not or stop donating your blood and your semen. So we got transformation, rage, and analysis. So we got analyzing rage and pride here and transforming these energies for your highest good, transforming the frequencies of how these energies are executed, as opposed to just writing them off, because they are usually demonized, right? But also it's like not being able to transform a desire here or situation after an analysis here of rage and pride. When you identify this in people, when you identify these energies here, especially when they show up together, you know that this person is not going to receive justice from that, especially if it's done out of lust here, or it's done from some type of lower vibrational energy here. I don't know why I'm getting something about like this whole thing with rage and pride being what grants you your desires, or how some people are kind of putting out this attitude of power that makes it seem like you have to be cold. Like, I remember I was telling one of my friends how my godfather was telling me when I was younger that I had to develop a tough skin because I'm like really, really sensitive. And I'm trying to remember what she said, bro. Basically, it's like going along with this message, like, yeah, you know, just because you get a tough skin, you develop better boundaries, right? You know what kind of things to identify that can resort to danger, or it can resort to an unpleasant situation or outcome. Like, you know how to identify these things, but you wouldn't have known that if you didn't experience these things. But the point is, just because you are aware of it and you're hyper aware, hypersensitive to these things, like, doesn't mean that you close your heart off. Like, you want to be mindful that you don't close yourself off to love or people who truly are genuine, right? So that's what I'm getting, like, just the same message. Yeah, vibration. Analyzing people's vibration, even when they are in a rageful state, even when they are angry or confident, right? Because even pride could represent that, right? Or just even talk about your soul tribe, like your pride, like your family unit, right? Your personal, like your people, right? So pride, like the lion's pride, like that type of thing, like something about this speeding up here. I don't know why I saw celebrate, but that's not what that word says. But something about a celebration here, you being in this energy, this vibratory state, a celebratory vibratory state. This is not going to be the case for everybody. But something about this being disguised here, your gradual progress being disguised, but it actually is speeding up. Like, it's speeding up. It's just not in the timing that, I don't know, that you think it's supposed to be. Or that we use our ego, like our human self can fall into, like getting impatient, right? But something about this gradual process speeding up here. Yo, somebody's pregnant, somebody's having a baby, or something about babies growing fast, or pregnancies speeding up, or it's like it's speeding up or happening faster, or like the whole growing, like, labor phase or process, like it's like speeding up or something like that. This looks like a throat, but it also looks like a vagina, like opening and closing. I don't know why. I don't know what the hell this is. It kind of makes me want to read it, because we also have purity is accumulating. Purification is accumulating as you purge yourself, like, from all this old shit. And this is why you're gonna be looking fresh as hell in the face, like a whole new face. I'm telling you, looking like whole new creatures. All right, this is also talking about you having like you having more confidence, because you know how to strategize whenever, like, you're in opposition. You know how to strategize, right? You don't have to, like, there's ways you can defeat your competition without having to play it their way, where, you know, they can get the results that they want. Like, for example, let's say there's beef, and like how typically people will be like, okay, well, meet me at such and such, and we'll throw them bowls, we'll throw them hands, then come throw them hands, or whatever the case may be. Or motherfuckers will run up, pull up on you, and they want to have a shootout and shit like that. So instead of doing that, you know that there's other ways where you can defeat motherfuckers, protect yourself, send your spiritual village, right, to go get motherfuckers, or just cause things to happen, circumstances, like whatever, right, to defeat them, so that you don't have to directly be involved, like, and you can just like really be sitting back, like basically bask in your emperor and empress energy, and allow, it's like you have to choose to, right? If you want to, if you think, or you want to claim that title, that divine title, that divine essence, that divine royalty, whatever the case may be, you got to know how to act out of it, right? You got to know how to act out of it, because there's going to be people who do that shit for you, like, whether you know it or not, whether you know them or not, right? Behind the scenes, in your face sometimes, period, right? But also about that, and then detachment. We got detachment here. Detachment. No, I'm not about to keep blowing this shit up with you. I'm not falling for the okie doke. I'm not gonna keep falling for the okie doke. Not doing that. I'm gonna detach, and I'm gonna apply what I've learned to first of all defeat you in a way where I am coexisting in I'm coexisting, my spirit and flesh, my human self is coexisting in my execution of this strategy. Right? Not just my flesh and my emotions and I'm just here in my flesh, in my ego. No, but I'm going to coexist with my spirit to properly execute whatever I need to do to protect myself, defend myself, whatever. Right? So, and of course, if you bring that shit to me, I got to do what I got to do. I mean, if it has to get physical, it is, but I'm not going to just run to the shit like all naive and gullible, like I don't have any sense. I'm not going to do that. Right? But if you bring it to me, it's going to get dealt with, and it can be dealt with in a plethora of ways. Right? So, but for some of you, like, you don't even have, and this is my thing, like, it don't even, you're so protected that it's not even going to get to that point. It's not even going to get to that point. Or it's very rare or unlikely that it will. Because your energy alone, your essence, the power behind your words really is, like, it does a lot. It does a lot. It's very intimidating. You, even if you don't say nothing, but just your energy, like, where is your frequency? Let's say you have somebody in front of you whose goal is to intentionally stir up some type of fear within you, and you literally don't have it. It's non-existent. That alone can turn motherfuckers away from you, make them think twice. I'm telling you, if it's genuine, if it's for real, if it's sincere. Just your frequency, like, people, and that's the thing, too many people get overly caught up in what we see. There's a whole interaction and encounter, a whole face-to-face moment also happening with the spirits, with the souls, right? A whole communication going on outside of what your physical mouth is saying, right? So it doesn't matter if the other person really is like rah 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 rah, like, and their flesh seem intimidating. They can even have a gun. It really don't fucking matter. Like, no. Now, obviously, if you know motherfuckers are like head gone, like in their pride and rage, and these combination of spirits together, you know that shit. You shouldn't even entertain the shit, like, to a degree of putting your life in danger, like, just to prove a point, just because that's the type of shit they own. They don't have shit to lose, and to them, they feel like they'll be better off if you're gone. So they're willing to take that risk. No, but you gotta believe, like, I don't know, like, it has a lot to do with your soul, bro. Like, some people put too much. Some people's spiritual protection and spirit team are guns in their homeboys, in their homegirls, in their fists, in their blades, in their knives. That's it, right? So we got rhythm. I keep hearing flow too. So this rhythm of life and death, life, death, life, death, life, death, death, rebirth, death, rebirth, death, rebirth. This is talking about you having a deeper understanding, right, of this, a deeper commitment, a deeper acceptance of this energy here, right? And how it's mirrored, how it's reflected in other people and other things and cycles of existence. You could be seeing ravens or crows as well. That's on purpose. This is to confirm your purpose. Literally, like, it seems like the cards that's coming out, it's all like it's balancing energies here. Like, we have contentment, and then we also have optimism side by side, right? So I can be, you know, grateful and content with what I have, but still optimistic and open to new things, or open to receive more, right? I'm not too attached to things that I release, because I understand that when I release things, I open myself up to receive more or to receive new, right? So basically, just, you know, just finding your balance, finding this harmony here, right? And officializing and deepening that, and it reflecting in your skin, your flesh. Like I said, I woke up this morning looking in the mirror, I look like a whole goddamn new Jada. And I was like, I thought I was tripping. I asked my partner, he was like, no, you're not. You're not. You're definitely not, because I seen it too. So, yep. And you know too, like, just a sidebar, like, it's not a sidebar, like, it's related, but where is this card? It looks like Mars, Venus, or either the sun, right? And a portal coming from it. And then you have the golden children. So literally looking more golden, but you know what's emanating from you? That's your Venus energy. That's that healed Mars energy, right? That's that sun personality energy, right? Right? It being able to shine and radiate more, right? Because of you clearing away the fogs, the clouds, and you doing the work every day. Because it's because you cleared away some don't mean more won't come back. That's why nature is our greatest teacher, right? We have sunny days. We see in one day, one cycle of a day, clouds cover a sun where you can't see the sun. Then it moves and it dissipates, right? So allowing these thoughts to come and go, these clouds to come and go, instead of trying to hold on to that, right? And that's going to cause conflict and confusion and frustration anyway, because you're supposed to be in the sun energy. So it's like it's going to naturally diffuse, but it's like if you holding on to it, storms can create, you know? Well, we got pride. Sometimes it be people's pride. Sometimes it be our pride. Our pride. So that's another thing too with this Leo, us being in Leo season. I think I really hope we still in Leo season. We didn't move to Virgo yet, because honestly, like, I'm not sure, but I'm gonna assume that we're still in Leo season. Yeah, we're in Leo season because my grandmother's birthday is Saturday. So, but yeah, that's all I have for you guys. It's your girl, the Authentic Empress. If you watch my video, like my video.